You think it's over. You think because you fell, because they walked away, because the door closed, that this is the end of your story. Let me tell you something. The worst decisions aren't the ones that break you. They're the ones that wake you up too late. And that move he made. Oh, that move will haunt him forever. You think the finish line is real. You think that once you hit a certain mark, once you achieve that goal, once the world nods in approval, that your struggle is over. But here's the truth. Most people don't see the finish line as an illusion. It's a mirage that convinces you to stop running, to stop pushing, to settle for something far smaller than what you're capable of. Life doesn't work in straight lines. Success doesn't happen neatly on schedule. What you see as a finish is often just a pit stop, a checkpoint, a moment designed to test whether you have the courage to keep going when everything inside you is screaming to quit. The moment you think you've crossed the line is the moment life whispers, "No, this is just the beginning of the real test." The danger lies in believing that effort is always rewarded instantly. People measure progress in milestones, in numbers, in the applause of others, but true achievement is invisible in the moment. It doesn't announce itself with fanfare or confetti. It grows quietly, in the background, in the hours no one sees, in the repetition that feels endless and thankless. That's where the illusion hits hardest. When your mind says, "I've done enough, I'm finished." But finished isn't a state of success, it's a state of perception. And perception is a liar. Every so-called finish line is a challenge in disguise, waiting for you to realize that your story is far from over, that the real victory comes to those who keep moving long after the crowd has left. Every time someone tells you to stop, every time failure whispers that you've reached your limit, that's when you're closest to breaking through. The finish line is seductive because it appeals to your desire for rest, for safety, for comfort. But comfort is the enemy of greatness. If you fall into the trap of believing the race is over, you surrender before the fight has truly begun. True champions know that the moment you feel exhausted, the moment you feel like quitting, that's exactly when you need to dig deeper, to push further, to demand more from yourself than the world demands from you. The illusion of the finish line is strongest when your strength is weakest, because life wants to see if you'll stop or if you'll rise. History is full of people who mistook checkpoints for completion. They celebrated too early, they rested too long, and they let the mirage of accomplishment lull them into complacency. Meanwhile, the real work continued. Opportunities passed them by. Battles were lost quietly. Success didn't leave. It just moved to someone willing to fight harder, to run further, to endure longer. The finish line doesn't exist for those who chase it blindly. It exists for those who understand that life's challenges are endless, that each victory is simply preparation for the next, and that the true measure of progress is not how far you've come, but how far you're willing to go when the world says you're done. The most dangerous illusion is believing that others have it figured out. You see someone reaching a milestone, someone receiving praise, someone standing on a metaphorical podium, and you think they've arrived. But even the greatest are still moving, still learning, still pushing beyond what you can see. They understand that finish lines are temporary, that comfort is fleeting, that true fulfillment is not in arriving, but in persevering. The real victory comes to those who refuse to be fooled, who see the finish line for what it really is, not a stopping point, but a signal to push harder, to reach higher, to go further than anyone thought possible. The illusion is not in the distance. You can see it, but in your willingness to believe it's the end. And that willingness, that's what will decide whether you rise or remain behind. Comfort is seductive. It whispers to you in soft tones, tells you that you've done enough, that you're safe, that there's no need to reach any higher. And at first, it feels good. You sink into routines, you cling to what's familiar, and the world around you feels predictable. But here's the harsh truth: comfort is the slowest form of death for ambition. It doesn't scream, it doesn't punch you in the face. Instead, it creeps in quietly, wrapping itself around your mind like a velvet cage. You convince yourself that you're satisfied, that you've earned rest, that tomorrow can wait. And while you rest, while you linger in the warmth of security, life doesn't stop. Life is moving, growing, challenging. And every moment you linger in comfort is a moment someone else is seizing what could have been yours. The danger of comfort is that it hides itself behind excuses. I'll start tomorrow. I'll wait for the right time. I deserve this break. These words feel innocent, even rational, but they are chains. Chains that keep you from reaching your potential, from becoming the version of yourself you once imagined in moments of clarity and ambition. Comfort doesn't challenge you. It doesn't ask questions that make you uncomfortable. It doesn't demand growth. And growth, real growth, only happens when you are uncomfortable, when you feel the burn of effort, when you stand in places that test your courage, your patience, your resolve. To stay comfortable is to surrender before the fight has begun. History has proven that greatness rarely lives in comfort. Every achievement worth remembering, every story that inspires, every legend that people whisper about began in the uncomfortable. The long nights, the early mornings, the rejection, the criticism, the fear of failure, these are the soils in which greatness grows. Comfort, on the other hand, is the grave where potential goes to die quietly. People sit in their routines, ticking off days, never realizing that the world outside their safe walls is ruthless, aggressive, and unforgiving. The moment you settle for comfort, you stop moving forward. You become invisible in the march of those willing to be uncomfortable, willing to embrace the unknown, willing to risk everything for the life they dream about. But discomfort is not something to fear. It is something to seek. The real challenge, the real opportunity lies in the moments that make you sweat, that make your hands shake, that make your heart pound. Those are the moments that separate the ordinary from the extraordinary. When you embrace discomfort, you build resilience. You develop strength. You discover that the mind, the body, the spirit are capable of far more than you imagined. Comfort, in contrast, is the silent thief of potential. It lulls you into believing that security equals success, when in reality it only equals stagnation. Every comfort zone is a trap disguised as safety, and the only way to break free is to step into the unknown again and again, even when it scares you to your core. The final truth about comfort is this: it is not just dangerous for the ambitious. It is deadly for anyone who wants more from life. People stay in jobs that drain them, relationships that limit them, habits that diminish them, all because the idea of leaving the comfort of the known feels too terrifying. But here's the catch: the world rewards courage, not convenience. It celebrates risk, not routine. It elevates those willing to step out, to challenge themselves, to embrace the hard path while others cling to comfort. If you want to win, if you want to leave a mark, if you want to live a life that echoes long after you're gone, then you must see comfort for what it truly is: a prison. And the key to freedom: choosing the hard road every single day, because only there will you find the greatness that comfort can never give. Failure is loud in the moment. Yes, it shouts, it stings, it bruises your ego and rattles your confidence. But here's the truth: most people refuse to see failure as temporary. It's a teacher, not a jailer. It can be studied, learned from, and even celebrated if you have the courage to extract its lessons. Regret, on the other hand, is quiet at first. It whispers while you sleep. It creeps into your thoughts when you think no one is watching. It lingers long after the pain of failure has faded. Regret doesn't let you off the hook. Regret doesn't let you reset. It follows you, echoing every what if and every I should have, until you can no longer ignore it. And the cruelest part, you only realize its weight once it has already taken root. Failure is something you can face and overcome. It demands a response. You can rise from it, rebuild, and come back stronger. Regret, however, punishes silently. It doesn't care if you have potential, if you have talent, if you have all the resources in the world. It punishes the choices you didn't make, the chances you didn't take, the risks you avoided because fear whispered, it's too risky. You might fail. Every person who has ever achieved greatness has failed multiple times. But their failures became stepping stones because they acted, they moved, they risked. Regret doesn't give you that luxury. It haunts you for the rest of your life, a ghost born from hesitation and inaction. The loudest regret comes from the moments you convinced yourself it wasn't worth trying, the job you didn't pursue, the conversation you avoided, the dream you postponed because the world told you it was impossible. Failure is public and visible. People can see it, judge it, even criticize it. But regret is private. It lives in the corners of your mind. It visits you at night when the house is quiet. It reminds you of every opportunity you let slip away. And unlike failure, which fades with time and effort, regret grows, it festers. It becomes a weight on your chest that nothing, no success, no wealth, no recognition, can ever fully erase. Regret is louder because it doesn't leave room for excuses. You can rationalize failure. You can blame circumstance, luck, or other people. But regret is unforgiving. It asks only one question: why didn't you try? Every time you avoid action out of fear, hesitation, or self-doubt, you answer that question, and your answer becomes a permanent echo in your life story. The irony is cruel. Failure may have been survivable. The lesson may have been invaluable, but regret is permanent. It doesn't teach you. It doesn't reward effort. It only reminds you again and again of what could have been if only you had dared to act. The truth is simple and brutal. The pain of failure is temporary. You can get up, try again, rebuild, and even succeed. The pain of regret is eternal. It shadows every choice you make, every path you walk, every quiet moment when you reflect on your life. Regret doesn't allow you to rest easy. It is louder than any failure because it carries the weight of your unfulfilled potential. And that is why the people who move, the people who risk, the people who refuse to let fear dictate their choices, those are the people who never truly experience regret. They may stumble, they may fall, but when the dust settles, they can look back and say, I tried, I fought, I gave everything. Regret, it never gives you that luxury. It only whispers the question that haunts the soul. What if? Motivation is fleeting. One day it drives you forward, making every step feel effortless. The next day it disappears like smoke, leaving you questioning why you even started. That's the cruel reality of motivation. It's unreliable, inconsistent, and entirely dependent on circumstances, moods, and fleeting emotions. If you rely on motivation to carry you through life, you will always find yourself abandoned when the challenges are toughest. Discipline, however, doesn't come and go. Discipline is a constant. Discipline is the quiet force that shows up when the fire of excitement has burned out, when every fiber of your body wants to quit, and when the world offers you no applause, no encouragement, no reason to keep going. That is when discipline proves its power. Discipline is not glamorous. It doesn't give you instant gratification or viral recognition. It is the long, lonely hours when no one is watching. It is doing the work that feels pointless in the moment because you know the results are invisible. Every great achievement, every legendary success was built on invisible hours of discipline that no one sees. Motivation may spark action, but discipline fuels progress. Motivation may get you started, but discipline ensures you finish. Without it, even the most talented, most motivated person will falter, stumble, and fade. Discipline is the engine behind the unseen victories, the ones that actually define your life. The beauty of discipline is that it turns small actions into unstoppable momentum. It doesn't ask you to be inspired every day. It doesn't care if you feel like showing up. Instead, it trains you to act consistently, to push through resistance, to commit to a path even when every cell in your body is screaming for comfort. Motivation is a wave. You ride it, and when it crashes, you fall. Discipline is a lighthouse. It stands firm in the storm, guiding your every step, ensuring you move forward no matter how dark the night or how rough the terrain. People who rely on motivation alone often find themselves stranded when life gets difficult. Those who embrace discipline, they keep advancing when the world expects them to fail. Discipline builds character. It teaches patience, resilience, and mastery over yourself. Motivation can make you feel good for a moment, but it doesn't prepare you for the grind, the setbacks, the pain, or the long journey ahead. Discipline creates habits that outlast fleeting emotions. It trains your mind to act even when your heart hesitates. The person who cultivates discipline can endure criticism, rejection, exhaustion, and doubt without losing their forward motion. Motivation alone cannot do that. Motivation celebrates the easy victories. Discipline conquers the hard ones. And life, in its most honest form, doesn't reward the easy victories. It rewards those who persevere through difficulty, who keep moving when every reason to quit is screaming in their ears. Finally, discipline beats motivation because it creates freedom. When you are disciplined, you are no longer a prisoner of how you feel. You are no longer dependent on inspiration, encouragement, or external validation. You are the master of your actions, the captain of your destiny. The path of discipline is not easy, but it is certain. The path of motivation is tempting but treacherous. Motivation may carry you over a hill, but discipline will carry you over mountains. And when life demands more than you thought you had, when challenges seem insurmountable, when fear and doubt try to paralyze you, it will be discipline, not motivation, that pushes you forward. Discipline doesn't just help you reach the finish line. It ensures that you get there, no matter what stands in your way. When everything is easy, when the path is clear, when success comes effortlessly, character is invisible. It hides behind smiles, behind words, behind appearances. Anyone can seem strong when life is calm. Anyone can seem confident when the road is smooth. Anyone can claim resilience when there is nothing challenging them. But real character is forged in the fire of pressure, in the weight of responsibility, in moments where the stakes are so high that one wrong move could change everything. It is easy to be kind, disciplined, and courageous when no one is watching. True character is measured in the darkness, in the struggle, in the moments when quitting feels like the only choice. Pressure exposes everything. It strips away pretense, masks, and illusions. It forces you to confront who you really are, not who you want the world to think you are. When deadlines are impossible, when critics are loud, when failure threatens to destroy all you've built, pressure asks one question: what are you made of? Some crumble. Some hide, some blame the world. Others rise. They discover depths of courage, resilience, and determination they never knew existed. Character is not something you declare. It is something life tests, something that reveals itself when circumstances demand that you act, that you endure, and that you lead, even when your heart trembles and your mind shouts for retreat. Pressure also reveals priorities. When the easy path tempts you to compromise your values, when shortcuts could save time or effort, pressure forces you to decide who you are and what you stand for. Will you bend for convenience, or will you stand firm, even if it costs you comfort, security, or approval? The strongest people are those who understand that their principles are more valuable than temporary success. Character is revealed not in moments of triumph, but in moments when standing firm feels impossible. When the world pushes, when the odds are stacked against you, when fear threatens to paralyze every action. This is when true character emerges. It is not loud, it is not flashy, it is quiet, relentless, and unwavering. Pressure also builds resilience. Life is not fair, it is not predictable. It will challenge you, knock you down, and test every belief you hold about yourself. Those who shrink under pressure miss opportunities to grow. Those who rise under pressure discover their true capacity, their endurance, their strength. The harder the test, the greater the revelation of character. Every obstacle, every criticism, every setback is not just a challenge. It is a mirror. It reflects who you truly are. Some will look into that mirror and see doubt, weakness, or fear. Others will look and see courage, resolve, and determination. The difference between the two is not talent, luck, or circumstance. It is character, revealed and proven when it matters most. Finally, pressure leaves no shortcuts. It is honest. It demands that you show up fully, that you commit completely, that you act with integrity, even when no one else is watching. Character under pressure is what separates those who are remembered from those who are forgotten. It is what makes legends, what creates stories worth telling, what leaves an imprint long after the moment has passed. You cannot fake it. You cannot hide. Life will test you, push you to your limits, and demand your best. And in those moments, character will speak louder than words, louder than talent, louder than luck. The world will know, not by what you claim, but by what you do when it matters most. That is where true greatness is born. Legacy is not born in moments of comfort. It is not crafted in applause, in easy victories, or in fleeting recognition. True legacy is forged in struggle, in adversity, in moments when the world seems determined to break you. Every decision made when the pressure is high, every action taken when failure is staring you in the face, every sacrifice made when the reward is invisible. These are the bricks that build a legacy. People remember the moments when you refused to quit, when you stood tall while others faltered, when you persevered not for immediate gain, but because you understood that your actions echo far beyond your own lifetime. Hard moments reveal what kind of mark you will leave on the world. They are tests disguised as obstacles, opportunities hidden within pain. While some grumble, or give in to fear, others see the hardship as a signal, a call to rise, to fight, to endure. It is in these moments that the seeds of greatness are planted, watered by determination, nurtured by resilience, and strengthened by courage. A legacy is not built when the sun shines. It is built when storms rage around you, and the temptation to surrender is stronger than the desire to persist. Those who understand this realize that every difficulty, every setback, every heartache is an essential chapter in the story they will leave behind. Legacy is also the accumulation of choices made under pressure. Every decision you make in the heat of challenge defines how people will remember you. Will you act with integrity when shortcuts tempt you? Will you speak truth when lies are easier? Will you lead when no one else will, even if it costs you everything? These moments do not announce themselves. They come quietly, sometimes painfully, and demand everything you have. And it is in responding to these moments consistently, deliberately, and courageously that the framework of your legacy is built. People will forget your words, but they will never forget your actions when it mattered most. The hardest moments also define influence. Legacy is not just personal, it is the mark you leave on others, the inspiration you provide, the courage you ignite, the example you set when circumstances are most challenging. This is what creates ripple effects that last far beyond your own lifetime. Hard moments force you to rise above ego, fear, and comfort to leave a blueprint for others to follow. The person who endures the struggle, who embraces responsibility when it is painful, who takes action when others hesitate, this is the person whose story will be remembered, whose life will become a lesson, and whose legacy will endure long after they are gone. Finally, the truth about legacy is this: it is never built when life is easy. It is never created in comfort or convenience. It is forged in fire, pressure, and sacrifice. Those who seek to be remembered must embrace the hard moments because they are the crucible in which greatness is tested and proven. Every obstacle faced, every battle endured, every challenge overcome contributes to a story worth telling. A story that inspires, that influences, that elevates, and that lasts. If you want to leave your mark on the world, you cannot wait for easy moments. You must step into the hard ones, embrace them fully, and act with courage, conviction, and determination. For it is in these moments, when everything is on the line, that your legacy is written, and that the world will never forget your name. So now I ask you, will you settle for comfort? Will you let fear dictate your choices? Will you allow the regrets of what you didn't do to echo louder than the lessons of what you tried? Or will you rise? Because the truth is this: life doesn't wait. Opportunities don't knock twice. The world doesn't pause for the hesitant, the afraid, or the uncertain. Every moment is a test. Every challenge is a chance. Every setback is a signal this is where your story is decided. Stand up, push forward. Fight through the doubt, the pain, the fear. Let discipline guide you when motivation fades. Let character shine when the pressure crushes. Let the hard moments define you, not defeat you. And when the dust settles, when the world has moved on, when others have given up, you will be standing, stronger, wiser, unshakable. And your story, your legacy will echo far beyond this moment. You think it's over? No. It's just begun. And the move you make today will haunt those who doubted you forever.